A lady was lost in her car in a bad snowstorm. She remembered what her dad had once told her. If you ever get stuck in a snowstorm, wait for a snowplow and follow it. Pretty soon, a snowplow came by and she started to follow it. She followed the plow for about 45 minutes. Finally, the driver of the snowplow got out and asked what she was doing. She explained that her dad had told her that if she ever got stuck in the snow, to follow a plow. The driver nodded and replied, "Well, I'm through with the Walmart lot. Now you can follow me over to Kmart." Samar enters the kitchen and opens the sugar box, sees inside, and closes it. Kaveri observes the whole episode. Again he comes and does the same stuff. Kaveri asks, "Why are you doing this?" Samar replies, "The doctor told me to check sugar levels regularly." The answer by one student was so profound that the professor shared it with colleagues via the internet, which is, of course, why we now have the pleasure of enjoying it as well. Bonus question: is hell exothermic, gives off heat, or endothermic, absorbs heat? Most of the students wrote proofs of their beliefs using Boyle's law. Gas cools when it expands and heats when it is compressed, or some variant. One student, however, wrote the following. First, we need to know how the mass of hell is changing in time, so we need to know the rate at which souls are moving into hell and the rate at which they are leaving. I think that we can safely assume that once a soul gets to hell, it will not leave. Therefore, no souls are leaving. As for how many souls are entering hell, let's look at the different religions that exist in the world today. Most of these religions state that if you are not a member of their religion, you will go to hell. Since there is more than one of these religions, and since people do not belong to more than one religion, we can project that all souls go to hell. With birth and death rates as they are, we can expect the number of souls in hell to increase exponentially. Now, we look at the rate of change of the volume in hell because Boyle's law states that in order for the temperature and pressure in hell to stay the same, the volume of hell has to expand proportionately as souls are added. This gives two possibilities. One, if hell is expanding at a slower rate than the rate at which souls enter hell, then the temperature and pressure in hell will increase until all hell breaks loose. Two, if hell is expanding at a rate faster than the increase of souls in hell, then the temperature and pressure will drop until hell freezes over. So which is it? If we accept the postulate given to me by Teresa during my freshman year that it will be a cold day in hell before I sleep with you, and take into account the fact that I slept with her last night, then number 2 must be true, and thus I am sure that hell is exothermic and has already frozen over. The corollary of this theory is that since hell has frozen over, it follows that it is not accepting any more souls and is therefore extinct, leaving only heaven, thereby proving the existence of a divine being, which explains why last night Teresa kept shouting, "Oh my God!" This student received a plus. Each Friday night after work, Ole would fire up his outdoor grill on the shore of Rainy Lake and cook a venison steak. But all of Ole's neighbors were Catholic, and since it was Lent, they were forbidden from eating meat on Friday. The delicious aroma from the grilled venison steaks wafted over Rainy all the way to I Falls and was causing such a problem for the Catholic faithful that they finally talked to their priest. The priest came to visit Ole and suggested that he become a Catholic. After several classes and much study, Ole attended Mass, and as the priest sprinkled holy water over him, he said, "You were born a Lutheran and raised a Lutheran, but now you are a Catholic." Ole's neighbors were relieved until Friday night arrived, and the wonderful aroma of grilled venison filled the neighborhood. The priest was called immediately by the neighbors, and as he rushed into Ole's yard, clutching a rosary and prepared to scold him, he stopped and watched in amazement. There stood Ole, clutching a small bottle of holy water, which he carefully sprinkled over the grilling meat, and chanted, "You were born a deer. You raised a deer. But now you are a walleye." A 15-year-old Amish boy and his father were in a mall. They were amazed by almost everything they saw, but especially by two shiny silver walls that could move apart and then slide back together again. The boy asked, "What is this, father?" The father, never having seen an elevator, responded, "Son, I have never seen anything like this in my life. I don't know what it is." While the boy and his father were watching with amazement, a fat old lady in a wheelchair moved up to the moving walls and pressed a button. The walls opened, and the lady rolled between them into a small room. The walls closed, and the boy and his father watched the small numbers above the walls light up sequentially. They continued to watch until it reached the last number, and then the numbers began to light in the reverse order. Finally, the walls opened up again, and a gorgeous 24-year-old blonde stepped out. The father, not taking his eyes off the young woman, said quietly to his son, "Go get your mother." A girl was sitting on her boyfriend's lap on a bus. She called out to the driver, "Can you drive a little slower? The shocks are really noticeable." The driver replied from the front, "You might want to get off that guy's lap and check. The bus has been standing still for the last half hour. You are in the middle of some kind of project around the house, mowing the lawn, putting in a new fence, painting the living room, or whatever. You are hot and sweaty, covered in dirt or paint. You have your old work clothes on. You know the outfit, shorts with the hole in the crotch, an old t-shirt with a stain from who knows what, and an old pair of tennis shoes. Right in the middle of this great home improvement project, you realize you need to run to Home Depot to get something to help complete the job. Depending on your age, you might do the following. In your 20s, stop what you are doing. Shave, take a shower, blow dry your hair, brush your teeth, floss and put on clean clothes. Check yourself in the mirror and flex. Add a dab of your favorite cologne because you never know. You just might meet some hot chick while standing in the checkout lane. And you went to school with the pretty girl running the register. In your 30s, stop what you're doing. Put on clean shorts and a shirt. Change shoes. You married the hot chick, so no need for much else. Wash your hands and comb your hair. Check yourself in the mirror. Still got it. Add a shot of your favorite cologne to cover the smell. The cute girl running the register is the kid's sister to someone you went to school with. In your 40s, stop what you are doing. Put on a sweatshirt that is long enough to cover the hole in the crotch of your shorts. Put on different shoes and a hat. Wash your hands. Your bottle of Brute cologne is almost empty, so you don't want to waste any of it on a trip to Home Depot. Check yourself in the mirror and do more sucking in than flexing. The spicy young thing running the register is your daughter's age, and you feel weird thinking she is spicy. In your 50s, stop what you're doing. Put a hat on and wipe the dirt off your hands onto your shirt. Change shoes because you don't want to get dog doo-doo in your new sports car. Check yourself in the mirror and you swear not to wear that shirt anymore because it makes you look fat. The cutie running the register smiles when she sees you coming, and you think you still have it. Then you remember the hat you have on is from Buddy's Bait and Beer Bar, and it says, "I got worms." In your 60s, stop what you are doing. No need for a hat anymore. Hose the dog doo-doo off your shoes. The mirror was shattered when you were in your 50s. You hope you have underwear on so nothing hangs out the hole in your pants. The girl running the register may be cute, but you don't have your glasses on, so you are not sure. In your 70s, stop what you are doing. Wait to go to Home Depot until the drugstore has your prescriptions ready, too. Don't even notice the dog doo-doo on your shoes. The young thing at the register smiles at you because you remind her of her grandfather. In your 80s, stop what you are doing. Start again. Then stop again. Now you remember you needed to go to Home Depot. Go to Walmart instead and wander around trying to think what it is you are looking for. Fart out loud, and you think someone called out your name. You went to school with the old lady who greeted you at the front door. In your 90s and beyond, what's a Home Depot? Something for my garden. Where am I? Who am I? Why am I reading this? Did I send it? Did you? Who farted? My friend likes to read his two young sons fairy tales at night. Having a deep-rooted sense of humor, he often ad-libs parts of the stories for fun. One day, his youngest son was sitting in his first grade class as the teacher was reading the story of the three little pigs. She came to the part of the story where the first pig was trying to acquire building materials for his home. She said, "And so the pig went up to the man with a wheelbarrow full of straw and said, 'Pardon me, sir, but might I have some of that straw to build my house with?' Then the teacher asked the class, 'And what do you think that man said?' And my friend's son raised his hand and said, 'I know. He said, 'Holy smokes, a talking pig.'" I hit on this page by folk singer Christine Levine, showing the results of automatic translation of some of her song titles to and from a foreign language by the Alta Vista automated translation software. For example, the original song title is, "Please don't make me too happy to French to English. Please not return to me too happy to German to English. Please to me, do not go back too lucky to Italian to English. I pray to me not to go behind too much. Fortunate to Portuguese to English. I pray me not to go too much behind fortunate to Spanish to English. I request to me not to go too much behind lucky person." "What did you do today, honey?" A man came home from work and found his three children outside, still in their pajamas, playing in the mud, with empty food boxes and wrappers strewn all around the front yard. The door of his wife's car was open, as was the front door to the house, and there was no sign of the dog. Proceeding into the entry, he found an even bigger mess. A lamp had been knocked over, and the throw rug was wadded against one wall. In the front room, the TV was loudly blaring a cartoon channel, and the family room was strewn with toys and various items of clothing. In the kitchen, dishes filled the sink, breakfast food was spilled on the counter, the fridge door was open wide, dog food was spilled on the floor, a broken glass lay under the table, and a small pile of sand was spread by the back door. He quickly headed up the stairs, stepping over toys and more piles of clothes, looking for his wife. He was worried she might be ill or that something serious had happened. He was met with a small trickle of water as it made its way out the bathroom door. As he peered inside, he found wet towels, scummy soap, and more toys strewn over the floor. Miles of toilet paper lay in a heap, and toothpaste smeared over the mirror and walls. As he rushed to the bedroom, he found his wife still curled up in the bed in her pajamas, reading a novel. She looked up at him, smiled, and asked how his day went. He looked at her bewildered and asked, "What happened here today?" She again smiled and answered, "You know every day when you come home from work and you ask me what in the world I do all day?" "Yes," was his incredulous reply. She answered, "Well, today I didn't do it." "Can you relate to the woman in this story? Who does most of the cleaning in your home?" Joe wakes up with a huge hangover after attending his company's Christmas party. He didn't even remember how he got home from the party. As bad as he was feeling, he wondered if he did something wrong. Joe had to force himself to open his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a couple of aspirins next to a glass of water on the side table, and next to them, a single red rose. Joe sits up and sees his clothing in front of him, all clean and pressed. He looks around the room and sees that it is in perfect order, spotlessly clean. So is the rest of the house. He takes the aspirins and cringes when he sees a huge black eye staring back at him in the bathroom mirror. Then he notices a note hanging on the corner of the mirror, written in red with little hearts on it and a kiss mark from his wife in lipstick. "Honey, breakfast is on the stove. I left early to get groceries to make you your favorite dinner tonight. I love you, darling. Love, Jillian." He stumbles to the kitchen, and sure enough, there is hot breakfast, steaming hot coffee, and the morning newspaper. His son is also at the table eating. Joe asks, "Son, what happened last night?" Well, you came home after 3 a.m. drunk and out of your mind. You fell over the coffee table and broke it. Then you puked in the hallway and got that black eye when you ran into the door. Confused, he asked his son, "So why is everything in such perfect order and so clean? I have a rose, and breakfast is on the table waiting for me." His son replies, "Oh, that!" Mom dragged you to the bedroom, and when she tried to take your pants off, you screamed, "Leave me alone, bitch, I'm married." Broken coffee table, $239.99. Hot breakfast, $4.20. 2 aspirins, 38 cents. Saying the right thing at the right time, priceless.